Hi, guys. Today I'm going to talk about decluttering my old journals. Okay, that one is really hard for me. I don't know if I'm the only one to experience this, but going through my journals is kind of hard. Why? Because I've had this habit of writing in journals for maybe 20 years. And so in there are some very personal things. I don't write my emotions, my habits, my everything. I actually write inspirational things. So quotes that really resonate with me, or podcasts that I've listened to and I want to take notes about the bits of wisdom and the tools and techniques that are shared on the podcast or in a book. So there's a lot of educational content in it, and there's a lot of my personal affirmations. So over the years, I have written a lot of affirmations, and they're mostly intentions, kind of like a compass for me to go in the direction that I really want to go, as opposed to being stirred here and there by the busyness of life, and to be able to make more conscious decisions for me and for my family. So, yes. Also, I've used those journals as travel journals. I don't know if you can see here, like when I went on around the world. Well, it's like a 3 months backpacking with my husband around Europe. We went to places like Ljubljana, Slovenia, and so I kept record of that. We went to Austria. We went to Florence, and I took um, clippings, from guides, and I wrote down where we were, what we did. But a lot of those journals actually have my affirmations, intentions, goal settings, visions, and a lot of things that I've repeated to myself over and over again, like a new concept I want to really integrate. So there's also a lot of redundance in those journals. Um, but let's see about this one. Yeah, that one has on this page, it has my, um, how do I say, my ideal life. In not in the sense that I'm unhappy about the life that I have, but just to remind me of what's important. So it starts with, I love so much. I am so full of joy, love, and gratitude. I dance freely and fearlessly. I hike, climb mountains, and exercise hard whenever I want to, and I feel fantastic. So that's the beginning of it, and it's a full page that I write to myself on a regular basis. And I've been doing this text for maybe a couple years. And I wrote this text at a time when I was very sick. And the laughing part was really hard to do because my body was very depleted. So it was really hard to feel joyful and grateful and to feel the love. So that was kind of like, this is the direction where I want to go. I want to refill that in me. And it says, I dance freely and fearlessly. Well, back then, 3 years ago, I could not dance. I could barely move. I was so sick for a few months. And I can climb mountains. Back then, I could barely walk. I could barely walk. I could exercise hard and do whenever I wanted to without feeling exhausted after that. So when I composed this, um, I was not there. But it's kind of been that thread that I've been keeping for, well, for the last 3 years. And now I can say I can dance freely and fearlessly, and I can exercise hard and not and still be functioning, as opposed to having to do nothing for a week just to be able to recuperate. So that's been really, those journals have been really helpful to me. How am I going to declutter those? They are a presentation of the past. And I have more, by the way, somewhere stored. So what I'm planning to do is just tear a few pages of, I'm just going to scan through them. Let's do it now, actually. I'm going to scan through this one. See my goals from 2016. I don't need to look at them. They're over. And actually, I can see a vision board for buying a home back then in 2016, which actually we have now. So it's really neat to see that some of my husband and I, our vision has come to fruition. Metaphor strategy, Claire Graves system of colors, peaceful parenting. I'm doing so much better as a parent, but back then I needed a lot of tools. I did not have good role models for what made a harmonious relationship with your child as they grow and they go through these different phases. So I needed a lot of parenting skills, a lot of learning there. But I think the language of soul, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? What would love do now? Well, that's beautiful. So maybe I'll tear this page up because I think it has a lot of wisdom, timeless wisdom. And sometimes I stay away. I strand away from the path of love and authenticity, and kindness, which, yes, it's hard to do. There's one about codependent no more, book I read from Melody Piety. I Need Your Love, Is That True? Byron Katie. That was a very, very important book for me, about figuring out if the way you're thinking is actually based on reality or past conditioning or beliefs, and being accepting of what is without the story. That's huge. The story that we have in our heads creates all kinds of confusions and miscommunications. So maybe I'm not gonna even tear the entire pages. I'm going to scan through this, and just maybe write down on my new journal. I have a journal. I'm still gonna keep a journal, but my plan is to keep just this one journal, and whatever lessons from the past that I may not have fully learned, maybe I take a few of those nibbles and I bring it into my present to help me forward. But a lot of the benefits from me writing in my journals for the last few years is that I have learned, I have integrated it. So I use my journals as tools, to solidify, to anchor, to not forget important principles, and to remind me to put them into practice into my everyday life. So a lot of the parenting skills I now have, and I don't need this anymore. So I'm okay to recycle those pages. I'm okay to recycle all of this, actually, because it's only paper. It's going to go into the recycling. I don't care if people read what's in it. I think nobody's going to care much. I think it's just going to go be recycled. And so I'm going to scan. Maybe I'm going to take a half hour to go rather quickly through each and every page. And maybe if there's like something that resonates with me of now, like, oh yes, I could still work on this. I forgot about this. Let me go back. I can do that. But most of most of the letting go process for me to let go of my journals. It's really to understand that I'm at a different phase of my life, different season of my life, and the past learning is not the learning that I want to focus on now, and it maybe even the intention is not the intention I want to have now, because I've evolved, I've changed for the better. And so I'm not going to be too I'm going to try to not be too emotionally attached as I'm going through those. Maybe I'll do a second video to let you know how that process went. But it's a bit of a inner process, so I'm going to be offline when I do that and by myself, and scan through the pages quickly with my fountain pen and my current note journal, and see if there's anything else that I need to bring into the future with me. But most of it is the past, it's memories, and it's been integrated, it's been practiced, and therefore all of this paper reminder is unnecessary. So that's a big deal. That's a very big deal. And actually, the person who gave me the courage to declutter or to go through my journals and to be okay with letting go of them. I have more in my basement. I have more in my safe. Actually, I have a safe, because before I was like, oh, my journals, I want to keep them just in case there's a fire. I want my journals with me. I want my photos, my computer, and like passport and important documents that you don't want to lose. So they're in the safe. That's how important these have been for me. But I'm okay. I'm okay now to be detached and to not bring more weight into my future. This is weight. This, like several journals like this, I have that quantity of journals. It weighs you down. And the person who helped me through this process is really my husband, because I was facilitating a decluttering workshop in my community. I do a free decluttering workshop where I teach people the principles of clutter and how it shows up and how to deal with it. And some people have never really even started on that journey, whereas I have been on this journey for maybe the last 3 years, where like really thinking about it, or really simplifying and really bringing it to the next level that would still work for me and my family. So at this workshop, my husband was there, my son was there, they were there too. And I asked the participants, all of them, what they were willing to declutter. And from their handbags. And my husband had one of his notebooks. He has a little notebook big like this, where he writes everything, his to-dos, his thoughts, quotes, whatever. That's kind of his to-go notebook. And he has a stack of them, because he's been keeping this moleskin notebooks for years. So I know, because there's that much of little notebooks, and he writes very teeny tiny. If it was my writing, it would be double the amount of size. But he's like, oh, I'm ready to declutter my notebooks. And I was shocked, because he's always kept them. And so I asked him, like, why? I'm really surprised. Like, how come you're deciding to declutter your notebooks? And he's like, well, I realize I don't need them anymore. I like the things from the past. I go through them, I revisit them, and then if there's anything in them that I want to remember, I just move it on to my current one. But most of it is past knowledge and past information. And I don't feel the need to revisit it again. And it went ping into my head. I was like, why am I not doing the same thing? I think I can. I've decluttered and minimized enough things in my life that maybe I'm ready for something so much more personal and so much more yeah, emotional, sentimental, that I can actually go through this myself. So he's given me the strength. Thank you, honey. Guys, I hope this is helpful to you. Please share your personal story, your tips about how to declutter things that are more sentimental. As a home organizer and person who helps people declutter decades of life sometimes, I tell them, don't start with the sentimental, emotional things. Don't even start with the paperwork, photographs, journals, things from your kids or deceased loved ones. Don't start there yet. You will be ready eventually to get there, but start with the easiest, more mundane things to declutter. So, for me, I'm ready to get lighter and say goodbye to all my journals. Wish me luck. Take care, guys. Bye.